You quit drinking, 6 months clean, and somehow, you weigh more than when you started. That's not a rumor. That's not a rare edge case. It happens to a huge chunk of people who quit alcohol. Almost nobody talks about it. Because the story we tell is simple. Quit drinking, lose weight, feel amazing. And when your body writes a different ending, you assume you broke something. You didn't, but your body did something. Several somethings. There are 3 reasons the scale climbs after sobriety: cravings, sleep, and your body literally rebuilding itself. Once you understand what's happening under the hood, that number stops being a mystery. It starts making total sense. Here's what nobody tells you when you pour that last drink. Alcohol is a weird substance. It's not a carb, not a fat, not a protein. It's its own category. Your body treats it like a fire alarm. Think of your metabolism like a factory floor. Workers have stations. Fat burning is one station. Digestion is another. Hormone regulation is a third. When alcohol shows up, management pulls everyone off their jobs. The whole floor stops. Every worker handles the toxic spill first. When you drink regularly, that factory never fully gets back to normal. Alcohol becomes the permanent priority. Everything else waits in line. Then you quit, and the factory tries to reorganize. But here's where it gets complicated. Your brain was using alcohol to manage something. Stress, anxiety, the low hum of Tuesday, doesn't matter what. When alcohol leaves, your brain doesn't just shrug. It goes hunting. It needs the next thing that hits the same relief button. And the thing it finds, almost every single time, is sugar. This isn't a willpower problem. This is a chemistry problem. Think of your brain's reward system like a playlist. Alcohol was the #1 track, played on repeat every night. You removed it, but the playlist doesn't go silent. It reshuffles, and sugar slides right into that top slot. You didn't get weaker when you quit drinking. Your brain sent out a search party for a replacement and found one at every gas station and checkout aisle in America. So now you're eating more sugar, more refined carbs, more of the stuff that spikes your blood sugar fast and crashes it faster. That creates the part nobody expects. Your blood sugar rockets up. Your body floods insulin to handle it. Insulin is basically a storage foreman. Its job is to take whatever's in your blood and pack it away. When insulin is high, your body stores more of what you eat as fat. Not because you're eating more calories, because of where those calories are coming from. That's counterintuitive loop number 1. Less alcohol, more sugar, more fat storage. Scale goes up. But we're not done. Not even close. Alcohol wrecks sleep. You probably knew that, but you might not know how badly. Here's the thing about alcohol and sleep. It's a con. Alcohol sedates you. You pass out faster, but it destroys the deep stages. Think of sleep like a repair shop that runs overnight. Deep sleep is when the mechanics do the real work. Rebuilding tissue, balancing hormones, clearing out waste. Alcohol doesn't close the shop. It just sends the mechanics home early. You weren't sleeping. You were unconscious. There's a difference. A big one. When you quit, real sleep starts coming back. But it doesn't come back clean. Your brain was chemically sedated every night. Now it has to relearn how to fall asleep on its own. That can take weeks, sometimes months. During that window, you're sleep deprived in a brand new way. Real insomnia instead of alcohol-induced blackout. Here's why that matters for the scale. Sleep deprivation does something brutal to your hunger system. Think of 2 hormones like a seesaw. One tells you you're hungry, the other tells you you're full. When you don't sleep enough, the hungry side slams down. The full side floats up. Your body starts screaming for fast energy, the sugar, the carbs, the exact stuff your brain already went looking for when alcohol left. So now, 2 systems are pushing the same direction. Brain craving sugar because alcohol is gone. Body craving sugar because sleep is broken. You're eating more, storing more, and the scale is climbing while you're doing the hardest thing you've ever done. Outstanding system. Really? Beautifully designed. And there's one more thing. This is the one that surprises people most. When you were drinking, you probably weren't eating much. Alcohol suppresses appetite. A lot of regular drinkers run a calorie deficit without realizing it. Not because they're being disciplined, because the alcohol is taking up the space. It's liquid calories with almost no nutrition and a side effect of making food sound boring. Think about it. How many dinners did you skip? How many lunches were just coffee because last night's drinks were still sitting in your stomach? Your body was running slightly underfed for months, maybe years. And it adapted. It got used to less. It lowered its expectations. Then you quit, your appetite wakes up. For the first time in a long time, food sounds good. Your body, which has been running lean and slightly broken, starts eating normally again. And some of that weight gain isn't fat at all. This is where it gets important. Your liver was working overtime processing alcohol. It couldn't store glycogen properly. Glycogen is your body's quick-access energy. Think of it like your phone's battery. While you were drinking, your battery was stuck at 15%. Now it's finally charging to full. That alone adds weight. Water follows glycogen into your muscles and liver. That adds more. Muscle tissue that couldn't recover because sleep was trashed starts rebuilding. That adds more. You look at the scale and see a number climbing. Your body looks at that same number and sees something completely different. It sees, we're finally stable enough to function. Those two readings can both be true at the same time. So what do you actually do with all of this? The sugar craving is real. It's biological, not moral. You don't fight it with guilt. You redirect it with protein. Think of protein like a slower, steadier track on that playlist. It hits the same satisfaction circuit, but it doesn't spike your blood sugar. It doesn't crash you an hour later. When the craving shows up, and it will, you're not fighting weakness. You're redirecting chemistry. Protein first at every meal. The sugar pull gets quieter over time. The sleep issue resolves itself, but you can speed it up. Same wake time every day, even weekends. No screens the hour before bed. Cold room, dark room. These aren't hacks. They're the signals your brain needs to rebuild a rhythm it forgot it had. Your brain learned how to sleep before alcohol taught it a shortcut. It can learn again. It just needs consistent signals to remember how. And the weight itself? Here's what nobody says out loud. Your body spent months or years in a state it thought was normal, dehydrated, underfed, sleep-deprived. Running on a chemical it had to treat as poison every single night. The first 6 months of sobriety aren't a fresh start. They're a construction zone. Everything is being torn up and rebuilt at the same time. The scale during a construction zone means almost nothing. Give it 12 months, not 6. 6 months is when the noise is loudest. 12 is when the picture clears. The person who quits drinking and gains weight in month 6 isn't failing. They're watching a recovery process nobody accurately described to them. The weight is a symptom. What it's a symptom of is your body reorganizing around a baseline that doesn't include poison. So here's what I actually want to know. If 6 months after quitting, your sleep is deeper, your anxiety is lower, and your energy is real instead of borrowed. If your relationships are better, your thinking is sharper, but the scale went up 8 pounds. Did you fail? Or did you just measure the wrong thing and draw the wrong conclusion? Drop your experience in the comments, because I promise you, you are not as alone in this as the silence makes you feel.